I would call the April 7th, 2026 Land Bank meeting to order. Do we have any additions to our agenda tonight? No additions. Any citizen comments tonight?
Chris would like to get you guys permissions about taking some stuff out of the
I've got a
VFW.
40-minute spiel for you guys if you've got the time. I've narrowed it down to less than 5 minutes though.
How about 3 minutes?
Don't work. My name's Chris Ortega. I'm a resident here in St. John. I live at 112 South Prairie. And the VFW, I know that the land bank owns, and it's set to be demolished. It's in pretty rough shape. There's holes in the ceiling. It's leaking down on the floor. A bunch of stuff in there is damaged. I got permission from the city to go in there, and I have a list of things that I would like to salvage and why. And I have like a couple pictures on things. There are 9 5-panel doors inside of the VFW building. They look like that, 5-panel wood doors. We would like to salvage those and then refurbish them and then use them in our house with the original hardware. There is one sign in there, an old VFW sign. Just a picture of it right here. It's just an old VFW dance sign, St. John, Kansas. It says who the music's by, Dick King. He was an old polka guy that had a band in the 20s, 30s, and 40s. We don't want to see that get destroyed, so we would like to save that. I'm just going to put that in my garage. There are 9 windows on the whole building. I would like to recover 5 of them because they happen to be the same exact measurements and dimensions for my house on Prairie Street, so I would like to use those for my house because they are newer than what I have up. There is a metal filing cabinet that's in there. It's kind of large, but it happens to have all the keys on the filing cabinet. It's 4 drawers. There's the measurements on it. It's like 2 foot by 2 foot wide, 64 inches tall, 30 inches deep. I just want to put that in my shop because it's an old cool cabinet. None of the stuff I'm selling, repurposing all of this for my residence. I just got the doors with the hardware cabinet. There are 4 sets of lace curtains on some of the windows. Somebody liked those more than I did. We would like to recover those as well. I don't have a picture of the lace curtains. There are, on the back dock, there's 12 by 4 by 12 wood docks. Well, wood dock, but there's 4 of them. If you guys eventually tear down the building, we want to save those because I'm going to build a sandbox for him outside. It would just be perfect to build a sandbox with. There are 10 of these light fixtures on the inside. They are complete with the glass, the top, the light bulbs. I don't really care about. I'll get different light bulbs. But I would like to recover all 10 of them because I want to put those around my house and my shop. There are some wires that go with it. I did see that there's some 12-2 wire exposed on the inside that I just want to take sections of so I can use that to rewire the lights. And then the last thing I saw inside was there's kitchen sink cabinets in there, all original wood. Okay, this right here. These are the cabinets. It's a porcelain sink. It's got a deep tub and then a shallow tub. It happens to be the same dimensions of the sink I have in my residence. I have another picture from the other angle. It's just a porcelain sink, the kitchen sink inside the kitchen there. I would like to recover that and use that for my sink because I have a stainless steel one and I'd like to put a porcelain one in. Again, the building's in pretty rough condition, so I know you guys are planning on demolishing it, and I wanted to save those things for the purpose of repurposing them, keep them here in St. John. And that's all I have. I had the pictures and then I had the dimensions on everything, what they were to make sure they work. I had to go back into that building twice with a flashlight and a measuring tape, and it's a bunch of crap all over the place in there. I don't know if you guys have seen inside, but it's rough. And that's all I had. Shorten it down to 3 minutes for you.
Very good. Thank you. We'll be talking about that property under new business, so we'll keep that in mind though. You know, if the decision is to demolish it. So.
Thank you.
consent agenda, I need a motion to approve minutes from our last meeting, March 17th, 2026.
So moved.
Second.
Motion and a second. All in favor? All opposed? Passes 5-0. Under old business, we looked at an application on 533 East 4th at our last meeting. We made a motion to table that, move it to old business. Any discussion on that? Any thoughts? That would be the old Leisure Homestead lot.
Did you hear from Travis at all today?
I didn't hear from him, so just was gonna touch base with him. My thought on it is, I think it, Bob brought up a good point at the end of our last meeting. We invested a lot of money and time into that property, and I think we need to recoup, that back if we're gonna sell it. I don't know if Travis is open to, paying for that or not. But I think we need to think about that, I guess would be my thought. But open to any other suggestions or any other input?
Do you,
I think that's a very good idea. We've got a lot of money in it.
Joe, we're under old business talking about the Leisure Homestead lot. About the guy who visited the last meeting.
Yeah, I think if I would be interested to see what your conversation with Travis is, when you bring that up, see if he's still interested in it. In that case, I think that lot and the VFW lot are kind of unique that we went out and acquired them versus going through the abatement process. So,
Sure.
um,
So it looks like our purchase price was $15,418, and then our demo cost was $50,000. So we've got $65,000 total in it. So I think if we are going to sell it to them, then we need to decide what our asking price or what we're willing to part with it, if we are at all.
I think it's a premium piece of property that we would need to recoup our cost. Because we have other projects we'd like to do.
Yeah.
And we don't have any money.
I would like to ask that all of you speak a little louder, please.
So
I think that's a very good point, Chad.
I would recommend 65,000 as the price.
yeah, I agree.
Agreed.
I agree.
can we get a motion, official motion?
I move we set the price for the old rest home at 65,000.
Second.
Got a motion and a second on 533 East 4th with a sale price to our applicant at $65,000.
I've got a little question. That 533, that is a big lot. Is that all the addresses that was labeled to that when we tore it down? Okay.
I
Yes.
believe so, yep,
I thought it was, but I wasn't sure.
I believe so. All right, we've got a motion and a second. All in favor? All opposed? Passes 6-0. Move down to old business. We've got an application on 407, new business, 407 North Santa Fe. With the applicant of Matthew Bauer under the corporation, hopefully I get the name right, Fenrers Wolves MC Incorporated.
That's perfect.
All right, so we've got an application on 407 North Santa Fe. From the app, it looks like you guys are a nonprofit group. You want to kind of explain what you guys are thinking on the property and what the use would be and what the plan is?
Yeah, my name's Matt Bauer. I'm here with about 1/4 of our group. We looked at the property about 2 weeks ago, 3 weeks ago, and it's perfect for where we'd like to land. We could use, maybe 1/3 of it for our club use, motorcycle use, and then the other part of it, things like rent it out for. Sorry, I'm not a very good public speaker.
You're fine.
Rent it out for things like wedding dances, high school graduations, just typical
Basically an event.
functions, events that people would like to, put their families or whatever in for that. Along with that, our group is a multi-talented group of people. We have plumbers, electricians, carpenters, masons, physical therapists. we have a very diverse group of people who are spread out all over Wichita, Great Bend, Larned. Here in St. John is where our group originated. So it'd just be a perfect place for us, and we could bring in tons of business just through having our local events on top of what else we can bring in, dances and things like that.
It is kind of, for our kind of things, bringing in live bands, kind of bringing more customers in for businesses around here in town, hosting things, and then also kind of providing that for the community, because I know there's not a close area to kind of have some events for, a venue for weddings, quinceañeras even, and kind of be able to put back into the town a little bit more with that as well. Being able to fix up a lot of the renovations and kind of keep it more historic, but also kind of bringing life back to it, making it safe, obviously. Doing all the kind of renovations as much as we can possibly, potentially bringing in local contractors as well. Being able to kind of bring more life back into this and kind of having a venue, having a place, even kind of hosting dances. I work with a lot of geriatric patients, and something they talk about all the time is having these local dances and sock hops and horn dances and different things kind of like that, and we'd love to kind of bring something back. I think our generation, even my generation and the younger generation, are trying to find more ways of connecting with the community and kind of bringing something in and an area to do that, and kind of being able to host things that might be bringing in a younger generation, giving them a safe place to kind of hang out and do things, and also have a venue for other events along with our stuff, being able to kind of bring that back up to par again, kind of add to it.
I know Bob's got a couple places for events also here in town, but like with this, it would be, another place if needed, if Bob's are full during certain times for doing like the Jubilee, citywide garage sales. If the weather's inclement, there's plenty of room to set up booths or like swap meets or flea market type stuff if there's an interest for that. And they're just, the options are unlimited, and kind of what we were thinking on trying to go. And then of course, like I said, do the repairs and renovations that are needed to get it back up to a usable, livable space, not necessarily livable, but workable space. And 'cause I hate to see another building get demolished. And there is pretty significant historical value to that building, and anything inside that would be found that's VFW related or historical or whatever would be saved and salvaged to donate back to the museum or whatever, to keep that historical value to where it will be appreciated by others that have gone through it or know about it or situations or whatever and can relate to it. So.
And things that we find that aren't useful to us can be donated to a gentleman like this.
Because we love to salvage ideas.
It will stay in stay in St. John with his place in the community. So we'd love to work with the community that way as well.
If I may say, Pat and Aaron had approached me on this, on getting them into that building, and I got permission from Pam, and we had somebody come over there, and the ideas that they had spoke to me about, I don't see no downside to it. I mean, I think it would benefit the community here in St. John greatly, so that's my thought on it. Thank you.
looking at the building, it is fairly sound. There's gonna be some work on it. But, and looking underneath it, all the floor joists are fairly sound, all that. When they had dancers on it in the years past, that floor never moved an inch. I mean, even when they had school dances out there, like graduations or weddings, they had all kinds of activities out there. And that floor has been solid all this time, it's a good solid wooden floor, all the way through that building.
So with your group being a nonprofit, I mean, you guys have the funds to, you know, be able to go get materials and everything for the, to do the repairs?
Yes, we do. We have the funds and the talent to do it. Like I said, we have many different aspects of our group that are working in different areas of the community. It would not be a hard thing to do to find either one. If we can't do it, then the contractor, we'll find a local contractor to help us out.
Well, material cost is also a good motivation to bring in more funds. You know, if we find a project that needs a big thing, then you run a roof fundraiser, you know, throw an event for that and kind of bring in the funds, raise donations, stuff like that. Being able to host events in a way that it kind of do it, like for a motorcycle club, it's not like it needs to be fancy or anything like that. And being able to host something right off the bat and being able to use that space very fast. And then bring it up to par for more community events, more kind of events that people want to walk into and be like, ah, this is the building, versus, you know, some hooligans like us sometimes. You know, we're okay with a little dirt, so we wanna fix it up, we wanna take pride in it, and, you know, put ourselves into it and bring a community together to kind of make that happen.
And like material costs, or materials, and most of that would be sourced through St. John Lumber
It'd be
to
sourced locally.
help keep all that
Without a doubt.
local and bring more revenue into the community.
So when we, you know, I don't even know, we bought that, it looks like in April of 2024. You know, the thought, I don't think any of us, I don't think we did a group tour through it, so we really don't know the condition, but the idea was that it was, you know, pretty worn down and probably would be best interest for it to go. So, you know, we spent $10,500 on that property. You know, I guess my opinion would be we would need to recoup that back if we sold it.
We could make that happen.
Good.
I'm not sure how soon, because we'd have to make it presentable to do the events and things like that.
Sure.
You know, within 2 or 3 years, I don't see that being a problem at all.
Sure, well, we, you know, we would need that money to be able to sell it.
Okay.
So we would need it, you know, whenever, if we sold it.
Absolutely.
Well, could, I mean, kind of like a land contract type thing, would that, something like that kind of work to,
You know, we don't
so
really
much
wanna
just to,
be landlords,
I
we don't
understand.
wanna be, I mean, we kinda, it's, you know, if we're gonna sell you a property, you know, we need it on the spot type deal, just how we've always treated them.
and our intentions are not to make, or let it end back up on your guys' agendas, it's to, you know, benefit, like I said, us in the community, and like I said, and fix it up, and then if that time ever comes, then put it up for sale, and
It would be sold to a person.
to where it's,
Upgrade.
yeah, that would continue the use and keeping it in a suitable condition.
Yeah, I was just saying that was, I mean, that's just a small concern of mine, I guess, or maybe a big concern, depending on how it would go, would be that since it was the VFW, I think we are the third or the fourth owner. And it's deteriorated further and further since. And so we finally had the opportunity to get it to, our plan was to tear it down because of its condition and get rid of a dilapidated building in town. Obviously, if it can be recouped, there's benefit to that. But that would be a concern as well, would be that if it's too much to handle and then we had the opportunity and then we pass it on. So we kind of been waiting for the opportunity to buy it for a reasonable price so that we could get rid of it because of its condition. And so the appetite to, we finally have that here, and then to hand it back is, but there could be benefits to to go on this route as well, but that would be a concern of mine.
Have you toured the building?
I haven't personally, no.
And I would recommend touring it and take a look at it before you actually decide to really tear it down. Because
It's pretty
it's
structurally sound.
pretty structurally sound.
When I went through it with these gentlemen, it looked pretty sound, and like you guys, I thought I was gonna walk into a nightmare, but surprisingly, no. Is it dusty? Yeah. Has it got stuff all over the floor? Sure. But it's pretty sound, in my opinion.
So we're looking at it like potentially a new roof recovery, fixing up some stuff, curb appeal, paint, fixing windows. My husband's a mason, he also knows how to glaze windows, he restores old buildings for a living. It's his job. So, he works for, the federal, works at Fort Larned, actually,
Yeah, he works
and
for Fort
restores
Larned.
those buildings. So, that's not a project we're scared of. It's not something that we're looking at and being like, this is too much. We've had our guys kind of walk through, I haven't personally gotten a chance to, but if they've kind of looked at it and been like, this is salvageable, I trust their judgment. I trust that that's not too much of a project for what we've handled in the past. So, taking crumbling buildings and, brought them back to life. So, I truly feel like we can really kind of add that life back to it without feeling overwhelmed or feeling like that's too much and giving up on it.
So, I did have a couple more things to add. You're looking at, two veterans right here. We have a couple veterans in Wichita, one of them was 20-year retired Navy. About 50% of us are veterans. So we would look at that as something, pride, we look at that as pride. The other thing you're looking at two business owners here. I personally have 6 properties in Larned. 2 of them are rentals. The other 3 are either one gonna get sold, actually 3 of them are rentals. The other 2 are either gonna get sold or one I'm holding on to rent out later, because my father's living in it at the time. So it's not a problem financially for us to get a hold of the building if we really needed to. Or upgrade it to a profitable situation to where it would be beneficial to the city at the same time, right? We upgrade the building, that increases the property taxes and everything else that go right back to the county. And again, if it does get sold, it gets sold to somebody that we would upgrade it later as well and keep it a usable building for the city.
No matter what, we're leaving it better off than it is.
Are you aware that I run that VFW for about 10 years?
I did not.
From about 2007 until about 2014 or 15. And I can testify that there was a termite problem.
Okay.
And we had a lease agreement on it. And when I left, the lease agreement left, but I spent a lot of time on the front north side of that building, rebuilding that termite damaged wood. The south end or the east end of it, been under that, rebuilding that. We built the plumbing in it and also the west door. And there was a tremendous amount of termite damage on the side of that building. And I know I put a new roof on it,
The roof is.
and the roof supposedly had been put on and paid for. It never happened. And I got that took care of over at Stafford. But the termite damage, to my knowledge, is still there. We rebuilt the front of the couple doors, just out as far as we could find the termite damage. We had to cut the sills out, replace them. And the VFW helped do it. And I know all them guys that's been in that, because I spent quite a bit of time running. I want you to know that going in.
Okay, great.
We very much appreciate
Yeah,
that.
thank you very much.
You're welcome.
Any other questions for their group?
Normally when we sell a property, one of the conditions is you do something or you fix it within a year. Would you guys get with it?
Absolutely.
We don't, like Aaron said, we bought it to tear it down. I'm not opposed to having it refurbished if it can, but I would want to see some action pretty quick. This committee, it's all about making the town look good and.
Work would essentially start
So-
as soon as we took possession. It would be shortly after that that it would start having some work put into it and continue.
You know, there's trees growing up around it. It's gonna need mowed. But you guys would do all that?
That is not a problem.
Yeah.
I have 3 zero-turn mowers to my possession. That's not a problem. And a 17-year-old boy that needs employed. I'm also a foster parent. I've got 6 kids, so there's not a real problem with getting
Yeah.
landscaping, land labor.
I guess I agree with Chad. I'm not against replenishing a building. But I am against it if somebody buys it and nothing happens to it,
Yeah.
like I've seen several times.
I guess my recommendation or opinion would be we all need to go take a look at it before we decide one way or another,
Take a good look and see.
and then put it under old business and make a decision after we had a chance to look. Anybody opposed to that?
I'd agree. It's probably been 20 years since I've been in there.
I've just been around the outside.
Kevin's been under it.
Yeah, we put in some air conditioning there in about 2006 or so.
Yeah, we put new heaters in it.
But through the time span of it being closed, the Knights of Columbus has bought more or less of the parking there. So big event parking would be limited to what's left. Unless,
Unless they can have something set up for the Knights of Columbus.
right,
Right.
We could rent parking from them.
yes,
That would benefit them as well.
yes.
Well, somebody wanna make a motion, just, put this request under old business or give us a chance to go look?
I'd make a motion to put 407 North Santa Fe property application from Matthew Bauer under old business.
Got a motion, I hear a second.
Second.
Got a motion and a second, all in favor? All opposed, passes 6-0. That is everything on our agenda for tonight, unless somebody has anything they wanna add before we adjourn.
I guess just to Chris, the kind of your request is pending with all the rest. So
And I just spent yesterday and a little bit of today in there measuring the doors and windows. I could tell you, I would love if that building could be saved. Marine Corps veteran myself, and the north side of that building, there's a hole in the roof that's been leaking all across the entire. And there's a hole, you can see the daylight, and it's when you go in there, you're gonna see it because the back room where the kitchen is all water damaged
Hey, Chris, not to interrupt, but we gotta start our city council meeting at
Sorry.
7.
You can continue.
We gotta adjourn and start the
Very
next
well.
meeting, so
Yeah,
sorry.
really appreciate it.
Can I get a motion to adjourn our meeting?
I'd make a motion to adjourn. Landing.
Second.
Got a motion and a second, all in favor? All opposed, passes 6-0.